Welcome to Fangirl Football. I'm Judy.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Lauren. As we head into the next slate of games, 4 teams remain undefeated. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Minnesota Vikings, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Seattle Seahawks. The Buffalo Bills have their chance to join this elite group if they secure a win against the Jaguars tonight. The Steelers' defense has been especially dominant, allowing 10 or fewer points in each game. Some of these teams seem poised to roll to 4-0 with the upcoming matchups like Steelers at Colts, Chiefs at Chargers, Vikings at Packers, and Sea Lions at Sea Lions.
I like that. The Sea Lions. That's great. Maybe the Seahawks at the Lions. I don't know. The Sea Lions might have a better chance over the Lions than the Seahawks, but it works.
But before we look ahead, let's dive into the 5 biggest outcomes that defined Week 3.
Yeah, these are some things that you need to know going into your office so that you can talk about it, or just for planning for next week, some critical things that happened in the games to think about. So we're going to start with the Whams.
The Sea Lions and the Whams.
Oh my. Okay. We're going to start with the Rams avoiding an 0-3 start to the season. It was close. It went down to the last 2 seconds for them to pull this out. The Rams never led in this game until they kicked the final field goal with 2 seconds left in the game. They were down 14 points midway through the fourth quarter. This game produced 2 of the top 3 fantasy performances from this Sunday. So Kyren Williams, the running back for the Rams, was leading the charge for them. And he was the second running back for the week with 33.6 PPR fantasy points. And then on the other side of the ball, we had Juwan Jennings as the top fantasy performer for the week. He's a wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, and he racked up 46.5 points in PPR leagues. He had 11 catches for 75 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they still lost. I guess they are really missing Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. So all of those injuries are starting to just eat away at that team. And the Rams have, they're missing Puka Nacua and
Cooper Kupp.
And Cooper Kupp. Yeah. So the injuries gave opportunities for other players to step up, and they took advantage of it in this situation. So the Rams avoided their 0-3 start, and now I think they're both 1-2. What else did we see this weekend?
In a similar game to where you had a team that was very behind significantly catch up in the second half, the Ravens almost couldn't finish off Dallas. On the Ravens side, Derrick Henry had a big day with 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's kind of a finally moment I think every person who has him on their fantasy team is feeling. You have him? Was that how you were feeling?
Well, I would have been feeling that way, except I sat him on my bench because I wasn't quite feeling like he could do it. And I thought the Cowboys were going to actually figure something out after last week and letting Kamara running all over them, but apparently not. They're just going to let everybody run all over them. So I need to see who they play next and what running back is going to have a good opportunity. So yeah, I got my loss with Derrick Henry on my bench.
Another area you don't like as much. You might be looking at the Cowboys kicker, who made history kicking a 65-yard field goal, which puts him behind only Justin Tucker's 66-yard field goal.
Yeah, just kind of amazing, but I like to keep the kickers out of this, but a 65-yard field goal, that's amazing.
And then in similar kicking kind of news on that side, they recovered an onside kick. I remember watching this onside kick, and it was an interesting effort. I think with the new rules, don't they have to declare them before that they're going to do an onside kick attempt before they actually do it?
They do. Yeah, they have to tell the other team, this is what we're going to do. And everybody on the field, this is our plan. We are going to do an onside kick. So I think we really kind of thought they'd be unsuccessful, and it was perfect. They kicked it to their 10 yards, it hit a player, and they recovered it. And then they marched down the field and got points. So it worked perfectly.
Yeah, because they Dallas ended up scoring 19 points in the fourth quarter and held the Ravens to 0. So it was one where I was not expecting the Cowboys to come back and make it as close as it ended up being in the end.
No, it should have never happened, but, the Ravens can move on, and they too avoided that 0-3 start, and we'll see now both Ravens and the Cowboys are 1-2, so we'll see where they go next weekend. A lot of teams avoiding their 0-3 starts.
Including Denver.
Yeah, so Denver gets their first win over Tampa Bay, preventing them from going 3-0. I don't know if it was the heat in Tampa Bay that just made Tampa Bay look awful, but they just looked beat down, and I'm sure it was hot down there. It was kinda hot everywhere on the East Coast this weekend. But Bo Nix ran for a touchdown. He still hasn't thrown for one, but he did get a running touchdown. He actually did a lot of running and looked fairly okay in this game. And then Mayfield threw an interception, and he was sacked 7 times. That's gotta be a rough day for Baker.
It was the kicker, though, that sealed the win. 4 field goals.
Why are we talking about kickers so much?
And this seems to be the year of kickers, it feels like.
I guess it's not the year of passing touchdowns, although I think those are gonna be up this week, so we'll have to get that final number for when we do the game review on Wednesday for week 4, but I think we're gonna get back to a normal amount, especially with 2 games left to go here on Monday night. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go back and pull some numbers on how many kicks we're seeing and what's average, because I feel like 4 field goals in a game, and that wasn't the only game that we saw like that, is a little extreme.
Washington's the week in week 2. That was also an extreme.
Yeah, so we got all these field goals being kicked. I'm gonna have to see, and I've seen a lot being missed too. We're gonna get some numbers on
Yeah.
field goals. So another game that was a surprise. It looks like there's actually hope for the Carolina Panthers in the form of, I think he's a 36-year-old Andy Dalton. You can't just pick whoever's playing the Panthers anymore in your eliminator pool. You got to actually pay attention now and pick somebody, because Andy Dalton pulled out the win and he stepped in for Bryce Young, who they benched, passed over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. You got to wonder why they didn't make that decision a little sooner.
So where do you think Bryce Young's gonna go?
If I was the Panthers, I'd be trying to get anything I could at this point for him, because he is definitely not the future of this team and probably any team. He's just too small and he isn't mobile. That's the only thing that makes Kyler Murray work, is he's small, but he can at least run, and Bryce Young can't and doesn't know how to run an offense for sure. So next, the Panthers are going to host Cincinnati. I'm here in Carolina, and I kind of want to go to that game maybe. It might be fun. I'll have to look. Tickets are probably pretty cheap. We'll see.
I think one year they were $18.
Yeah, I think we've seen them even like as low as $6. I got a really good deal one year when it was raining on like club seats on a Thursday night, because people don't like to go to those night games either during the week. So we'll see what happens
Well,
there.
we've seen a lot of quarterbacks not do well at their first team and then move on and find the right spot somewhere else. So maybe Bryce Young will find what Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold have found.
I don't think so. So let's move on to our final point, and that is Caleb Williams got his touchdown finally in the loss to Indianapolis. And he not only got 1, but he got 2. They were both passing touchdowns. It was kind of funny though, because when he completed the first touchdown pass to Romo Dunze, who also got his first touchdown, the question was, well, who gets to keep the ball? Because, if it's your first in the NFL, then you want to keep the ball, right? What are they going to do? Like saw it in half, or each year, like trade it off? I don't know who's going to get to keep it.
Rome gets it for 6 months and then Caleb gets it for 6 months.
Yeah, they're gonna need like an attorney to figure out the custody battle of the game ball for the first touchdown. Next, the Bears are traveling to LA to play the Rams. So we'll see if they can maybe get another touchdown or two in that one.
So 6 teams broke through with their first win on Sunday, including the Baltimore Ravens, Carolina Panthers, Denver Broncos, Indianapolis Colts, Los Angeles Rams, and the New York Giants, each taking a crucial step in shaping their season. We'll see who can keep the momentum rolling in Week 4. Join us later this week to preview the matchups for Week 4.